Ladies and gentlemen, it's very simple. Now, this isn't really a word, but Pelosi can unimpeach Trump. And if you haven't heard the word unimpeach, then I've made it up. Whatever, I don't care. They impeached Trump in the House of Representatives with a vote. He is not impeached until the articles of impeachment get to the Senate. That's according to Noah Feldman at Bloomberg. Okay, I believe he was one of the impeachment witnesses against Trump. Now Pelosi is saying, well, the way media spins it is hilarious. We're going to pressure McConnell into making the trial, a Senate trial, fair. We're going to withhold the articles of impeachment until the Senate trial is fair. The Senate trial will never be fair because even if Pelosi and Schumer and Democrats get their witnesses, Bolton, the homeless walrus, who cares about Bolton? Mulvaney is not, if anything, he's going to defend President Trump, but they're going to try to get him on some kind of, I don't know, they haven't stated their case in the House. They only have the opinions and the viewpoints of former ambassadors and diplomats. That's it. They don't have an email, a document, any directive, any evidence that Trump was worried about the No Malarkey bus tour, and therefore he was trying to interfere in the 2020 election. They didn't even include anything to do with the Mueller probe within the articles of impeachment, because the entire Mueller probe was a fabricated mess. They set up and framed Trump, and they couldn't even impeach him on their 3-year public relations spectacle, which was a shameless publicity stunt and ploy where the Democrats utilized the United States government against a duly elected president. He never worked with Russia. The notion is nonsense. He worked with Russia to interfere in the election because Bernie Sanders was cheated. How do we know? Deborah Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign in disgrace. Why? Because the DNC emails showed they were cheating Bernie. And that means that Russia interfered. Anyway, the whole thing was nonsense. They're not even using anything to do with the Mueller probe, any of the indictments on process crimes in these articles of impeachment. That should tell you why. Because the IG report completely, illuminated all of the foul play, all 17 inaccuracies, omissions, falsified information. Are you kidding me? Deliberately, not mistakes. But anyway, this is really interesting. The Washington Post, the next battle on impeachment, determining what makes a fair Senate trial. It's not for Democrats to determine what makes a fair trial. The impeachment in the House was not fair. Nothing. Okay, the reason that President Trump wanted to investigate Burisma was because of the conflicts of interest that even Marie Yovanovitch admitted. When she was questioned by Elise Stefanik, amazing representative, who said, well, did the Obama administration give you talking points? And then Marie Yovanovitch says, yes. President Obama's administration gave talking points regarding how to answer questions pertaining to Hunter Biden, because there were so many conflicts of interest. Even President Obama's administration knew that it's inherently a conflict of interest to have the son of the vice president on the board of directors. By the way, he has no background in energy, but on the board of directors of an allegedly corrupt, extremely corrupt energy company in the Ukraine that's already being investigated by the Ukraine right now. And Biden fired the prosecutor that happened to be looking into and going after the corporation funneling millions to his son. The defense was, that's because he wasn't going after corruption enough. Well, President Trump says we withheld the aid and the assistance momentarily because of all the corruption. We wanted to make sure it went to the appropriate, to the government and not to individuals' bank accounts. So Democrats are okay with believing Biden, but they're not okay with believing Trump. But here, Pelosi, okay, the Post reported Wednesday that, okay, House Democrats want Pelosi to hold those articles up, which would keep the Senate trial from starting, since you can't hold an impeachment trial without the articles of impeachment. You also can't impeach the president without the Senate getting the articles. Then the Washington Post writes, Democrats want to create leverage to force McConnell to allow testimony from members of Trump's inner circle, like Acting Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney. I explained in my last segment, if they try to force that, then the negotiation is, sure, you can have Mick Mulvaney. We'll get Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. And we'll talk about the conflicts of interest which justified Trump asking the Ukraine to investigate these potential conflicts of interest. Trump blocked Mulvaney from... Okay, so Democrats want to create leverage to force McConnell to allow testimony. You're not going to create leverage because guess what? McConnell doesn't want... He doesn't care if there's a trial or not, because he's going to acquit and exonerate Trump anyway. So Democrats are hilarious. This is the Washington Post. I mean, McConnell's like, Nancy, can I ask you a question, Nancy? If a bear poops in the woods, can you hear it, or does it happen? Let me state it another way. If a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound if nobody hears it? Obviously, from my philosophical questions, you can surmise that if you vote to impeach the president and we don't get the articles of impeachment, just like the bear and just like the tree, did it actually happen? According to Noah Feldman in Bloomberg, the answer is no. It didn't happen. So, Democrats, you can't force anybody in the Senate to abide by your version of fairness. We still haven't gotten the articles of impeachment. So that's not fair. Number two, I didn't tell you what to do in the House. You did what you needed to do. And we'll do what we need to do in the Senate. Pelosi and Democrats are like a person going to... I mean, she basically went to a bowling alley and picked out a shiny new blue bowling ball. And instead of actually thrusting the ball down the lane to get a strike or a spare, she essentially is holding the ball, saying, you will not engage in this bowling match until I decide to throw the ball down the lane. Well, sorry, it doesn't work that way. You can hold on to your blue balls all you want. Everyone else is going to play. So, I mean, really, what good comes of just holding shiny blue balls without thrusting them down the lane to score a strike or a spare or 7-10 split? Which reminds me, Kentucky leads the nation in blue balls. We just surpassed Louisiana. Anyway, you know this is a philosophical constitutional discussion that I tried to explain to everybody right now. You can't go to a bowling alley holding blue balls and expect that everyone is going to just wait and watch you put the bowling ball on that little blower machine. I have better things to do, Nancy, than blow your blue balls and then just wait around. So, we either get the articles of impeachment or Trump is not impeached. Capisci? That's it. You don't get the articles of... If they don't get the articles of impeachment... he's not impeached. Pelosi can unimpeach President Trump, essentially, by withholding indefinitely. Here, this is a Salon article. Pelosi threatens to delay sending impeachment case to Senate until McConnell agrees to fair trial. And then the threat is indefinite, holding the articles of impeachment indefinitely. So Nancy Pelosi suggested that she could indefinitely delay. Look, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and make my day. Why don't you make my day? It's like nobody, they don't care. So the longer you wait for a trial that is fair to you, because there are going to be no witnesses now. If they want witnesses, then that means that Hunter Biden, the intelligence official, Joe Biden, Adam Schiff, all these people are going to be called. And if they don't want to, if they want, okay, they're digging a bigger hole politically for themselves. Because right now, they can take it to the Senate and say, well, it was never fair, and the Republicans have rigged the system. But what they're doing is they're trying to leverage without having any leverage. Pelosi went to me and said, I have a beat-up 62 Buick that doesn't have an engine, and I'll trade you for a new Lamborghini Testarossa. And I said, I don't think I'm going to do that. Why on earth would I even do that? And then the Democrat said, if you don't take this horrible car, we'll withhold the insurance, the warranty. And I said, well, you go ahead and have yourself a good time. I'm going to keep my race car. You can have your old beat-up car that nobody wants. You see, you're not leveraging me. That's the point. There's no leverage in giving something that is of lesser value. It's like talking to people who've had a lobotomy with a brain that is less than functioning. They're trying to leverage McConnell without any leverage. They're trying to force McConnell's hand, but they have the worst poker hand possible. Okay? It would be like, they're trying to force an outcome when they don't have the ability to do so. Okay? So if Nancy Pelosi does not, if Democrats withhold the articles of impeachment indefinitely, McConnell could change the Senate rules, vote anyway, and say, if you don't give, and I explained this in one of my last segments, if you don't give us the articles of impeachment by January 15th, we're going to vote, and we'll acquit the president. And the acquittal will be based on the fact that you did not give the articles of impeachment, and it'll be based on the fact that you had no right to try to dictate the rules of the Senate as Speaker of the House. Sorry. Schumer can't because he's not the majority. McConnell is leading the majority. So there you go. Just like Republicans couldn't in the House. So give me your thoughts below. It's hilarious how they think they have something up on McConnell when they really don't. This is actually every day that goes by without the Senate receiving the articles of impeachment. It's worse for Democrats, and it gives actually McConnell greater ability to acquit the president without even receiving the articles of impeachment. And that's not me talking. That's one of the impeachment witnesses, Noah Feldman, in Bloomberg, stating that I believe he's an impeachment, if they don't get the articles of impeachment, he's not impeached. And there's a gentleman, Giancarlo Canaparo, on Fox News that said all McConnell has to do is change the Senate rules. And if he changes the Senate rules and says, if we don't get the articles of impeachment within a certain time, and Pelosi's notion of a fair trial is completely irrelevant, Trump's not impeached, and he's acquitted, which would be the best thing that ever happened. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so very, very much. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right this second.